All right, this should be really close to being finished. I'm just going to add some finishing touches to the tweet using the lens, and then I'm going to be done with it. Thank goodness. And after that, I have some shader stuff I need to work on. So, first thing is, the lens has the wrong concavity, so I'm going to fix that. I don't think it'll take that much. I think basically, yeah, it shouldn't be like this. If what I read on lenses is to be believed, I just need to switch the two sides, yeah, because this is gonna be focusing light. The other concavity is gonna do the opposite of focusing light, disperse light. Yeah, like that. So I think I need to do with this is change this to a left and this to a right. With luck, that'll just switch the two sides. And of course, it wouldn't be that easy. Wait, why would it do that? Oh, I see why it does that. Because I want to align the right side of this to the left side of the line. Okay. Well, I guess I could just do the align and then follow that with a shift. So this one where I'm aligning both of the right sides, I can shift that to the right by its own width. So I have to do something like the arc equals this. This is the right arc. Equals that. Then I'll just add the right arc, the variable. And then this way at the end I can do right arc dot shift. Shift that to the right. And I'll do that times right arc dot get width. Then add it, hopefully the one on the right. Do 1 to 3 or something. Hopefully that'll place the one on the right correctly. Yeah, and it did. So that's great. And the one on the left, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'll do left arc shift left times this, then add that. Oh man, although now that's off. I'm actually going to render that whole thing, see if the width makes sense. Because I know it's going to shrink later on. If there's more space to make it shrink, I might just make the default width a little less. So this is what we've got. Oh, and this thing is... Oh my goodness. Well, I guess that's still actually the width. So I guess that makes sense. But then in this updater, I have to switch it. And yeah, I can actually make the default width shorter since this updater, I have to switch it. And yeah, I can actually make the default width shorter since it'll look thicker since the lenses will be concave out. So let's see which updater that was. I do the dist arrow. Where's the one where I rebuild that lens? It must be here. So with this, I'm just gonna call this right arc. Do the same thing that I did before. Right times its own width. Add it there. Let the auto formatter deal with that. Here, same thing. Yeah, then do this. Shift that over, shift it to the left. Whoops. Okay, and I'll add this too. Okay. I'll just look at the whole thing. Then what I'm probably going to end up doing is making this width a lot shorter. If this taught me anything, or reinforced anything, it's that it's definitely worth it to do things really robustly the first time. Damn it, this is still... Actually, I think this might make sense. I don't think I copied the way I created it the first time exactly. So here, get the left arc, align to on the left, then I shift left by the arc that get width. Wait, this is just going the wrong way. Should I just copy this verbatim? Let's see how the right arc is constructed. This line's the same. That line's the same. That line's the same. Then right arc dot shift. Wait, one of these is rotated, right? The left arc is rotated by pi. Okay, so I rotated the wrong one. Okay, so let's see how that looks. All right. So the labels are still off. Then the updater does update correctly now. So that's great. What I'll do now is make the starting width smaller. Maybe just one. And if that's still too wide, I can probably bring it down even more. That does actually look kind of wide. Well, the labels look a little better. And the updating still works. But I am gonna make it smaller than that. Maybe just 0.5 because the concavity in the lenses makes a lot of more apparent thickness. And I'm not dropping frames this time, which is great. I think that looks pretty reasonable. Okay. The only thing is, like, I sort of got the feeling that at the end there, I'm nitpicking again, big time. But I feel like at the end there, it wasn't varying that quickly. Maybe I want to move it some more. Like, here, when if the thickness, whatever, starts getting written. When this starts being written. Here, maybe I should set it to a higher value. What if I just brought this up to 9 or so? Still with a runtime of 1.5. Although actually, no, I'm not gonna mess with that because getting the rate consistent between this one and this one is will be a huge pain. So I think that's just not worth it. Okay. This is pretty much how this is gonna be. So there's that. Then I'm gonna take a look at the I one. There wasn't that much that people recommended as a change for this. Mostly just drawing the axis in this diagram. So I think just right after this is faded in, these two arrows, I can just draw a line coming from the bottom of this arrow, going to the bottom of this arrow. And then I guess I'll have to update it, which will be a little annoying, but not too bad. And then that will definitely, unless something else is just horribly wrong, that'll be the last thing I do. And then other than merge them, because I don't want to merge them in an external editor. So let me find where these are faded in. Here. Then what I'm going to want to do is fade this in. Actually, I can... maybe just call this focal axis. And that'll be a line. It'll be white. It'll go from the original arrow on the bottom. And then it'll go to the image arrow at the top. Then I'll fade in this. And right after I fade that in, I'll show creation of that axis. And I won't update it yet. Also, this should be a much faster animation. Let me make this half a second or so. Check this again. So fade this in, draw that line. I feel like half a second might have been a little too fast. Though I do think 1 second will probably be too much. Let me start this from in 5 or something. Okay, I think that's good. Maybe a little bit thinner than it is by default. So I don't know the default line thickness. It's probably 4. Oh wait. With this here. Line. Okay. And here. Yeah, it's not listed here. It's probably just defaulting from the original, so I think I'm going to set the stroke width to like 3. Yeah, it's not listed here. It's probably just defaulting from the original, so I think I'm going to set the stroke width to like 3. Or even is it here? And then here I'm going to put the stroke width to 3. Render this again from 5. I actually don't notice a difference at all, but you know, I'm just going to leave that there. Now, next thing to do is I'm just going to add an updater to this, to the focal length. What is this doing? Oh, this is part of the logic to update the image. So here we're updating the original arrow, the image arrow, then the lens. So here I'm going to do update axis. And here I'm just going to have to get the length. No, this will actually be really easy. It'll just be new axis equals like whatever that line was. Whatever the logic was to create that line. Just create a new one. Become that new one. And that's all. I can do local axis.add updater that. Okay, and that'll change its length. So let me run that from 5. I sort of feel like it should be a different color since the arrow is already white. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. Now I just need to combine these. I think all I need to do is at the end here, just fade out everything. Let's see, the eye... What might be a nice effect is if, wait, this didn't even fade in. if one of the scenes fades out and shifts up, and then the next one fades out and shifts down. If one of the scenes fades out and shifts up, and then the next one fades out and shifts down, that'd be kind of a neat effect. Since like the lens and those labels and everything will go up, then the eye will come from the top. I think that would look pretty neat. So let me just... It shouldn't be too bad to do that. It should just be self.play, I think. A fade out and shift of just everything. So self.mobjects up. So then if I look at the end of the lens one from like N6 or 7, and what did I do? What did I do? Why is that not right? Self.play fade out and shift. All subobjects must be of type mobject. Is this supposed to be... I think this is supposed to be the star of this. That might be it. Nope. I have no idea why that happened. Okay. Let me try this. G equals that. Or G equals the V group. See what part of this is failing. Also, how many animations were there? It's gonna start from 10. Okay, so it's instantiating that V group. I get the feeling this won't be too difficult to debug. We just print Beam objects. It has trouble adding those. Okay. Is instance Vim object for M and Vim objects? So I guess I'll just have to do, if I look at this, the list of is instance Vim object for M and Vim objects. That's all. Oh, there's one that's false. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I print Vim objects, that 5 is a value tracker. I think that's a bug. Maybe that's not a bug. I'm pretty sure value trackers are just supposed to be ignored. But in any case... So I want to do G equals V group self.mobjects, G.remove whatever the value tracker was. Original arrow tracker. And then I can do that. Okay, so if I look at this from the 10th animation, same thing. I don't get it. Oh, I guess the problem is you can't even instantiate that group. Okay. So I have to do star of m for m in self.object. Do star of m for m in self.objects if is instance m v object, I guess. Okay, then I want to remove it. And in fact, I can just do this inline. Like so. Oh my gosh, and it still didn't include those two arrows. You know what it must be? It must be some updater on those. Some updater that's on them that's causing that. And since I've come this far, here's what I gotta do. For mob in self.objects, here it's updaters. And I think that without updaters, that'll, yeah, okay. Okay, so that fades that out. Then for this, I'll fade everything in and shift it down. So this will be fade in and shift down. This will be fade in and shift also down. Then, oh, there's no fade in and shift. That's weird. Oh, it's like fade in from or something like that. Wait. And from. Okay, so there's fade in from. Should I be fade out too, then? Okay, so now I'm gonna look at I tweet from 0 to 2. Yeah, and I wanted to. This should be up. Okay. Then with that, hopefully, I can just remove these lines and make them one scene. So now, first I'm going to render it in low quality. Just so I don't spend a lot of time if it isn't going to look good in the first place. Then after that, I'll render in high quality. Actually, all of these pauses, I feel like are throwing me off. Here's where thin lens equation gets written. Then there's this pause for a second. Let me just make it a lot shorter. So I get that half a second. Decrease that by half a second. And then I have to decrease all of these by half a second. Where was the last one? Here, 5.5, 6.5. Okay, this one is going to be 8. This one is going to be 10.5. There. Let's see if there's any more. That I think looks good. Okay.